Hey guys, what's going on, man? How's everybody doing? It's me, Mike P. The Truth. What we got for you today is we just got my thoughts and my impressions on Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I got it for the PS4. The game's been out for a little over a week. So I just wanted to kind of weigh in and give my impressions and thoughts on the game. This is not a full review by any means because this is just looking at the multiplayer component, number one. I don't really play single player in Call of Duty. And number two, I don't really have much playtime. I've only played for about 10 hours up to this point, so I don't really think that's enough to give it a review. Also, like we'll talk about later, there's a lot of server issues going on right now with the game and connection issues that hopefully Sledgehammer, Activision, whoever is able to fix. So you can't really give a definitive review for a game like this. So this is just going to be my impressions. The gameplay that's up right now, this is me playing Hardpoint on Defender. And the gun that I'm using, you might notice it's a really cool looking gun. The name of this gun, this is the ASM-1 or the AMS-1, whatever it's called, Speakeasy. It's a elite weapon that I got out of a supply crate, and it's a really, really good gun. This is one of the SMGs, and I like it a lot because, number one, you'll notice that it has a really, really long magazine. It's got 67 rounds to a magazine, I believe, because it has that drum magazine. It's good at a distance, it's good off the hip, there's not a lot of recoil, it's very easy to control. The only thing that I don't like about it is that when you're aiming down the sights, there's a lot of muzzle flash. But other than that, it's a great gun. It's probably my favorite SMG in the game, and I really, really like it. Especially if you're the type of player where you play objective game modes, hardpoint, domination, things like that. Equip this gun and never look back. So, my thoughts on the actual game. The game is fun as shit. I mean, I gotta admit, at least this point right now, the game is fun as shit. Now, some of you might say, oh, well, you know, it's just a honeymoon phase, whatever the case may be, things like that. But right now, the game really is fun. Now, of course, that could change depending upon what they do to the game, how the DLC maps, DLC weapons, and things like that shake out. That could change, but at this point, right now, November 14th, 2014, the game is fun as shit. It's a lot more enjoyable than Call of Duty Ghosts was. And I know that's not necessarily saying much because Call of Duty Ghosts, super punch, shout out to Jive Turkey. But Call of Duty Ghosts is basically the worst Call of Duty that I ever played. And a lot of people hold that sentiment as well. So it's not really saying much, saying that this game right now is better than Ghosts. But I think Activision really had to put out a good game this time, or at least a game that was fun this time. Because after Call of Duty Ghosts, if there was more bullshit with this game, like with Ghosts, I think the series really would have started to go down the toilet. I know there's some of you that think the series is already in the toilet, but right now at this point in time, the game is really, really fun. Graphically, the game is good. It looks nice. It's got a very bright color palette, very reminiscent of Black Ops 2 in that regard. A lot of things in this game are very reminiscent of Black Ops 2. And me, personally, I think that's a good thing because Black Ops 2 was a game that I really, really enjoyed a couple years ago when it was out. So, graphics are good. You can certainly tell that it's still running the same engine with the different movements and the gun mechanics and things like that. But the graphics are good. It's very crisp, very vibrant. One of the things that I think especially looks good is that if you're on a stage where you have a wet surface and the lighting effects and the reflections off of a wet surface, they look really, really good. In particular, on the map Detroit, there's one area in the back of the map where there's fire going, and you can see it reflecting off of the wet ground. It really looks good. It's certainly not the best looking game on the PS4 by any means, but it runs at 60 frames per second solid. I know some people on Twitter and things like that have been saying that there's frame drops with the PS4 version. I personally haven't seen any of that, at least not at this point in my experience. So the game, it's solid. It's not the best looking game on the market or anything like that, but it's solid. Sound effects are really good. The gun effects are good. Of course, there's a problem with the footsteps, so those of you that like the sound horror, you're really not going to be able to do that as well, because at this point in time right now, there's not really loud footsteps in the game. The footsteps are really, really quiet. As far as the gun balance is concerned in the game, I'm glad I waited a week before I made this video, because right off the bat when I got the game, my first train of thought was the SMGs are really, really bad. You can't do shit with the SMGs. The SMGs need a huge buff, like across the board. That's not really the case. In this game, SMGs are basically how they should be. They're good in close quarters combat. If you want to run around, put on lightweight, exo overclock, run around and off to hit people. SMGs work the way that they should work. You're not going to see any guns in this game like the MTAR or the Vector from Ghosts, or what was it, the MP7 in Modern Warfare 3. There's no SMGs like that in this game. I thought they needed a range buff initially, but they work as advertised. The number one gun in the game definitely is the BAL, or the BAL, the BAL, however you pronounce it. That's definitely the number one gun in the game right now. And I don't so much think that that gun is overpowered necessarily. I think what the BAL needs to kind of bring it in line with the rest of the guns in the game is that I think it needs a slight range nerf. If you look at Drifter's channel, he has a video posted where he's talking about the BAL. I think he just posted it a couple days ago. And in that video where he breaks down the stats of the weapon, it's not really anything special as far as fire rate, damage, anything like that. I think what the issue is that it's a 3-shot kill with the BAL. So I think if they not shorten the range across the board, but I think if they shorten the 3-shot kill range, I think that would go a long way into making it seem more balanced relative to the other guns in the game and relative to the other guns in the assault rifle category. As far as the community playing the game, there's definitely campers. In particular, I can't talk, I'm sorry. In particular, you have a lot of roof campers. People that'll just sit up on a fucking rooftop for the entire game and not move. And when you finally do kill them, what do? They'll just go up to another roof. So that's not an issue with the game in and of itself. That's more of a community-related issue. Another thing with the game that I want to touch on is the cloaking. I will admit, when I first seen the trailer to this game, and I seen that you could cloak, I was like, that's it, they ruined the game. Call of Duty is a series that's already known for people camping, and cloaking would seem to encourage that. But just like this dude right here, he was cloaked. You can pick out the people that are cloaked really, really easily, at least in my opinion. Get the fuck off the floor. You can pick up the dudes that are cloaked really, really easily in this game. So it's not really that much of an issue as far as I'm concerned. The main issue that I have with this game, and the main issue that pretty much everybody is having with this game up to this point, is with the connections. They just released a patch. I logged onto my PS4, and it said that it downloaded a patch for the game at like 5:30 in the morning, something like that. I don't know what the exact details of that patch are. I don't know. I haven't looked at the patch notes yet, but before I downloaded that patch, the connections were just crazy. Like, you would see the ping bars going from 4 bars to 2 bars to 3 bars to 1 bar to 4 bars back to 1 bar, and it was just all over the place. And from a gameplay perspective, that's really messing up the hit detection, because there's times in the game where you could be sitting there shooting right at a guy, get no hit markers, or maybe get 2 hit markers, and then he'll turn around and one-shot you. And you still got the same problems like what you did in Black Ops 2 with the bullets following you around corners. It's almost like, I was talking to Job Turkey earlier today, and it's almost like they took the netcode from Black Ops 2 with the bad connections, and they just copy and pasted that into this game. So they definitely got to fix the connections in order for this game to be viable in the long run. And I don't know what I was doing. That was, I think, the first time I used an assault drone. I didn't know what I was doing. But they really got to fix the connections with this game in order for it to really be viable and to really maintain popularity as far as number of concurrent players. Because that's what I think the most important thing for a Call of Duty game is, or any online first-person shooter. It's not initial sales or anything like that. It's the number of concurrent players that I think is the most important thing. So they really got to improve the connections and smooth out the connections. This is exacerbated because you die fast as shit in this game. The time to kill, you don't get insta melted like you did in Ghost, but at the same time, the time to kill is fast as shit. And that makes the connection problems that much more magnified. But overall, the game is good. It's the best Call of Duty that I've played in a few years now. I do think it's better than Black Ops 2 right now. Definitely better than Ghost. Definitely better than Modern Warfare 3. But let me know what you think of this video, whether you agree, disagree. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at Mike Pallanti. And check out www.gunslingergaming.com. Alright guys, this is Mike P. The Truth, and I'm out. Peace.